Hello and welcome to the Girl That Went For It podcast. I'm your host, Johanna Scholz, also known as Johanna Lian on Instagram, and author of Believe in Life, How to Dance in the Rain. If you want to live your dream life and become the best version of yourself, then this podcast is for you. I hope that I can inspire and encourage you to never give up and to always believe in yourself. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Johanna_Liana, for daily content. And now enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome back to this new episode. Today I have some exciting news because I want to give you guys a little live update. That's why I didn't upload an episode last week, even though I had one prepared. But I just wanted to give you a little live update first before I just continue as if nothing happened. So that's why there was no episode last week. It just didn't feel right. I wanted to give you an update first. So my vision board came true again. Like that's the third vision board I made, or fourth. And it came true because maybe you've already seen it on my Instagram, but I got engaged and I still can't believe it. I'm like staring at my ring every day. And today I want to talk a little bit about like manifesting and my engagement, obviously, and also some wedding plans and settling for, like not settling for less and creating the life that you want to live. Maybe I start with the engagement if you want to hear this. Otherwise you can just skip forward a little bit. But maybe if you see my Instagram reel, if you haven't, and if you want to see my proposal, I still can't believe it, we got it on drone. Jules did just such an amazing job. Like I'm so thankful he got it on video because it is such a tiny little moment. Like the first thought that I had when he proposed, or like the second or third thought, not the first one. The first one was like, yes. But then I was like, oh my gosh, this is over now. Like you proposed to me. Like that was another thought I had, but like not as bad. But I was like, this really just happened. Like it happened so quick. And I talked to a friend about it and she was like, yeah, and your wedding day will be almost like the same, even though it's a whole day, it's gonna be like a blurb. And then it was your wedding day. I think that's why it's so excited, the time between getting proposed and planning the wedding, and then it's the wedding. So yeah, I'm so glad he got it on camera because we literally watched it like 20 times the next day, or I don't know, you could always hear one of us listening to, or like watching the reel, and you could always hear the music. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, it's on my Instagram and it's pinned to my profile, so you can find it easily if you want to watch it. You don't have to, obviously. But yeah, so let's talk about how I visualized all this and manifested what I'm living right now, because I still can't believe it. I'm literally living the life I manifested. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh yeah, I'm living my best life. Or actually I can be like, I'm living my best life, but I don't want to make you jealous. And that's what if this triggers you also, then there's something you have to work on. But I'm just simply trying to help you, inspire you to manifest your dream life, to not settle for less. Because that's what it's about. I feel like that's such a huge part of manifestation. Picturing and visualizing your dream life and knowing what you want, what you deserve, knowing your worth, knowing what you're working towards to, knowing how you want your life to look like, and not settling for less. Another thing is when you manifest and you create a vision board, you see it daily and you act upon your vision board. You make decisions based on what you see daily, based on your vision. You will ask yourself, at some point, subconsciously, without even noticing, does this serve the life I want to live? If you're not doing that subconsciously yet, ask yourself this question every time you have to make a decision. Ask yourself, does this support the life I want to live? Does this bring me towards my dream? Would my future version say yes or no to this? So that's why manifestation is just so powerful. Yeah, and how did I manifest my engagement? So obviously I had something printed on my vision board and I had like on all of my vision boards, I had a section for relationship and how I want my relationship to look like, but more like feel like. It's all about the feeling. So those photos that I printed gave me such an amazing like feeling on, and also what I want in a relationship. And it helped me to not settle for less. And so that was kind of the first step, like getting clear on what I want in a relationship. I think I mentioned that in the past, but I made a list for the perfect boyfriend. Like not in like a way of he has to tick all the boxes, but more in a way of what do I want in a relationship? How do I want my partner to act in certain situations and stuff like that? I could I remember a few things that I'm going to just say now. I don't have my journal here. That was from like, I think 3 years ago that I wrote that down. I met Jules 2.5 years ago. And funny story, he ticked all the boxes. Not that my intention was to go through them and tick them off. I actually picked up my journal like half a year after we started dating or like being official together, and just had a look at it. And I realized he ticked all the lists, all the things I wrote without me consciously knowing, but subconsciously I knew this is what I want in a relationship, and he ticked even more boxes. So yeah, Jules, you're amazing. I know you're not listening to this, but just saying. Anyway, what was I? Yeah, so I got clear on what I wanted in a relationship, and I wrote every single detail down. I wrote down I want someone who supports me, who understands that I love doing, for example, social media. I love showing up on social media. I'm like really open with my life that I share on social media. I wanted someone who understands that. That wasn't like a main part, but it was on there. I also wanted someone who supports me, I can laugh with, who I can be silly with, someone who I don't have to worry about how I look. Like I remember when I was like 16, you're going through that time where you always want to look good and stuff. Like I want someone who, it was 10 years ago. Like obviously I changed and I don't care how I look in the morning, in the evening, how like I can be just myself. I knew that already, but I wrote it down anyway. I wrote down that I want someone I can go on adventures with and stuff like that. I also wrote down that I want us to have our own friends. Like, we have a friend group together, but also we still have our own hobbies and stuff like that. So I manifested all that. And like I said, Jules ticked all the boxes without me even knowing. But it was more of me getting clear on what I want, and I'm not settling for less. For example, I wrote down that I want all the positive things. I didn't write it down as if like I don't want anyone who I fight with all the time, because that's negative, and you still attract that even if you write down I don't want blah blah blah. So only write down what you want, and that's what I did. I want someone who I can, if I have an argument, who I can sit down with and talk through things and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the first part that made me like, that helped to achieve my vision board, or to make my vision board come true, knowing what I want. Like, this is all relationship focused now. And now let's move on to the engagement part. So on my last vision board that I made, like I think start of the year, I also added like some wedding related things. And obviously Jules and I started talking about it at some point. We even knew after 3 months of dating that this is it. But yeah, so, and then it happened. And now I'm like, I need a new vision board, because everything, I still have this section of family, like having my own family one day, like having babies and stuff, which will be on my next vision board as well, and other things. But I feel like my vision board needs an update. And that's something that's good. Like, your vision board shouldn't be the same forever, obviously, because you're growing, you're changing. I actually wanted to talk about this a little bit, like, you're changing. You know how some people say, oh, you've changed, or maybe you lose some friendships on the way because they said you are changing. And I just want you to know that's a good thing. It's a good thing you're changing, because we're always evolving. We're always learning more. it would be silly if we would still be the same person we were like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I'm not the same person I was 2 or 3 years ago, and I'll be changing. My vision will change. Like, I mean, the big vision will be there. Like, I want to live a life in abundance. I want to live a life in like freedom. Here again, you have to define what those words mean to you. You can't just say, I want to live a life in abundance. What does abundance mean to you? So yeah, just when you visualize your dream life and you think about things like, I want to live healthy, I want to live in abundance, I want to live in financial freedom, make sure you define these things. Like, what does this actually mean to you? Because what abundance means to me might not mean the same to you. So become really clear on what it is that you want. To get back to this whole journey of where I am today and that everything I ever dreamed of came true, I also want to remind you that my life, I don't know how long you've been following my journey, how long you've been listening to my podcast, if you listen to all of the episodes, but I just want to remind you that I love my life and I think my life is perfect. However, I want you to know it hasn't always been easy, and I wish some things were just different. I feel like I have to mention this here because if you're just starting to listen to this, you think maybe, oh, her life is so perfect. And I'm saying, I feel like my life is perfect. I feel happy. I feel like so wow. And like, I can't put in words how happy and grateful I am, but I just want you to know that if you just started following me and you just feel like, oh my gosh, her life is perfect, I've been through some hard things in my life and I wish I could change things, but I know I can't. And for those who don't know, and I feel like I should mention it here just so you understand that you can still be happy and move on and have a beautiful life. I lost my brother 4 years ago because he had cancer, and I'm now at a point in my life, and I wish I could go back to myself 4 years ago and tell her it's gonna be okay. Life is still beautiful. Life will still be beautiful, and you're gonna have the most amazing experiences in life, and you're gonna make it happen. And even though your brother is not with you earth side, you will feel him. You will take him everywhere you go. I wish I could tell that to my younger self. So if you're going through a tough time right now and life doesn't look sunny and I don't know how to explain it, just not as beautiful, I just want you to know that you can get through this and that life can still turn out to be amazing. You just have to choose it. I know it's hard when you're in that situation. I know how tired you feel. I know how exhausted you feel. Just know you're not alone. If you ever need someone to talk to, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help where I can and share my experience. I know that life is not always sunshine and rainbows and I don't know how to say it. I know there's the good and the bad, there is the ups and downs, but I feel like that makes us appreciate even more the ups. I'm not saying that people who never had downs, which I'm kind of thinking we all had our downs before, but I'm not saying that people who never experienced anything bad are not appreciative. They still are. I'm just saying that I feel like I learned to appreciate the little things. I learned to soak up every moment. I learned to not settle for less and to make my life as beautiful as I can and to take responsibility as well. So yeah, if you're going through a tough time and experiencing something you never thought you would experience, I just want you to know that you're not alone and you can still manifest your dream life. You can still believe in a bright future and everything out there is for you. Like, oh, how can I say this? Like, it's already out there and you can go and get it and take your time. Don't be too hard on yourself. I feel like that's sometimes what happens. And I had one girl reaching out to me that she feels really tired and she's wondering when it goes away. She recently lost someone, and I feel like we should be more understanding for ourselves and our feelings. And give ourselves the time to heal. Jules just came home. I just have to stop this here. Okay, where was I? Yeah. I just want you to know that even though life might not feel 100% fair right now, life can still be beautiful. And if you haven't read my book yet, Believe in Life, How to Dance in the Rain, I have one chapter where I talk about how to make life beautiful again. If you haven't read it yet, I would say I can recommend it. I mean, I wrote it. It sounds so wrong, but I shared my experience how to deal with difficult times, how to also help someone who's going through a difficult time, how to make life beautiful again, how to become more mindful, and all these things. So if this was something for you, if you haven't read it yet, it's available as ebook and paperback, and I'm just going to take it in the show notes. Yeah, so let's get back to some wedding chat. How exciting is it to plan a wedding? I wasn't aware I never thought about how exciting it is. Like I always, like I said, wanted to get engaged, wanted to get married, but now I'm in it. I'm like, whoa. The amount of podcasts I've listened to in the last week. So today's the 17th. I got engaged on the 6th of October. So in the last 11 days, I listened to so many podcasts about weddings. And I'm also going to share more in my Instagram stories because I find it so helpful. I started following people who are getting married soon because I wanted to learn more about planning a wedding. Like, how do you even plan a wedding? I'm so glad that I have friends who are so supportive and are so excited to plan a wedding. And also I have another friend, she gets married in January, and we caught up the other day and we just talked about wedding stuff. I was really excited before I got engaged for her and wanted to know about her wedding and where she's having a wedding and stuff like that. But I feel like now that I'm in the same situation and planning a wedding, I'm even more excited and want to hear all about it. And we're sending us like Snapchats and stuff. I'm just in the start of planning mine, and hers is in 3 months, 4 months, 3 months. Anyhow, how do you even start? So I have a spreadsheet with my guest list. Oh, another fun fact. I wrote my guest list in August. It's another manifestation thing happening. Like I just thought, I'm just going to think about who I would invite if I ever get married. Not that I wasn't expecting I never get married, because George and I talked about it, but I was like, okay, who am I going to invite? So I did like a wedding guest list, and that's also a form of manifesting. So I have a spreadsheet where I now plan all things wedding, like who I'm inviting or who we are inviting, venues, comparing venues. That's like the first thing that I learned while planning a wedding. You start with a guest list, start with a budget, and then you can look at venues and set a date. We kind of roughly know when we want to get married. That's like kind of the first things. Then I also bought a wedding planner that I'm going to take here too. It's from Fellow and Fox. I don't know if you say it like that. I don't know if that was, I don't have it here right now. But it is like a journal, or I'm really a fan of writing things down. I mean, I love my spreadsheets, but I'm also happy to have one that I can write in now. And I got that recommended from my friend who gets married in January, and I really love it. I also have a Pinterest with all things wedding related, and I'm thinking of creating a vision board just wedding related, because it's just such an exciting period. And like I just said earlier, I think the engagement is just such a blip, like just such a small moment, and then you have like this whole year of planning the wedding, and then your wedding day is probably also like this one day, and it's just blip and it's over. And that's why so many people have like as I call it, wedding blues afterwards. But I feel like the exciting part is like the whole planning. Even though I have to say here, I remember saying to Jules, oh, I couldn't be bothered to plan a wedding right now. That was when I was really busy with work. And what I did on Friday was immediately looking up wedding planners and stuff like that, looking up venues. So here's me who couldn't be bothered to plan a wedding. But now that I'm engaged, I'm like, I go for it. And actually, like, feel like every time I'm like, oh, Jules, can I ask you a question? He's like, is it wedding related? I mean, he loves it. So yeah. Anyway, if you're planning a wedding, be aware of wedding content on my Instagram. But I also was thinking, I don't want to spam you guys with just wedding things. But then I'm like, I'm sharing my life. So that's like a huge thing right now that's happening. So obviously I'm gonna share some tips and things. And yeah, and as I said, I read so much about like wedding, and I like also a wedding is super expensive. How you can do things yourself, and I'm really I love to do it yourself projects, and I think I really want to do some of the decoration myself, and I'm just so excited, and I'll keep you guys posted with everything. Feel free to ask me any wedding related questions you have. But to get back to my vision board came true again, is I just want to go through the journey of my life, and a lot of you have been part of it for so long, but I just want you to know that change is so incredible good. I remember my first vision board I did was after I traveled to New Zealand, because I was kind of depressed. I could really say, yeah, I was depressed because all I wanted to do was go back, and creating a vision board really helped me to feel better, to know what I'm working towards to. And I remember back then I put a lot of also fitness and nutrition on there. That was 2017. And 2018 I launched my nutrition program. It's still out there, like it's still available. You can check the link in my bio. But what I want to say here is that was a phase in my life in Instagram where I posted a lot of workout and nutrition things. It's still important in my life. I still love posting, or like I still love working out. I still love fueling my body with what it needs. But I feel like that was such a different era in my life. I was in this fitness and health era, and my content was mainly fitness and health. Before that it was traveling, because I traveled through New Zealand. Before that it was mainly like fashion and daily things. That was just when Instagram started. Yeah, then I went into the fitness part. Then I started planning my trip to New Zealand again, and then it went into traveling. And now I'm in this space where I also had my workout app, but now I feel like I'm in the space of, and I feel like it feels so aligned, but all the other phases felt so aligned to me as well at that time, because I was different. I haven't experienced what I experienced by now. So I am a different person than I was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And now I am, as you know, sharing a lot about mindset, a lot of manifestation, but I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be sharing what I am sharing today if I hadn't gone through the stages before, if I hadn't manifested my workout and nutrition plan, workout app, if I haven't manifested the dream, like traveling to New Zealand, living in New Zealand. Like I wouldn't be where I am today teaching you guys how to manifest your dream life if I hadn't gone through these other stages. You know what I mean? And I just want to say here again, like change is so good. And it's so good if you realize that the life you lived in the past, you've outgrown that, and there's so much more waiting for you, and you can create your reality new every year. You can set new goals. You can start a new hobby. You can meet new people. Your possibilities are endless, and just because you decided to do something in the past doesn't mean you have to do it forever. Let's say a job, let's say a city you live in. I even consider, because I love the Mount here in New Zealand, I live in Hawke's Bay, but I love the Mount, honestly. I could imagine living there. And I talked to Jules about it, and he said as well, but we both also love Hawke's Bay, and we love that our families are here, or like his family is here. So we couldn't at that stage, or we couldn't picture ourselves moving to the mount, and I think we won't, because I'm like so happy here. But if it was another place, it would probably be the mount. But you know what I'm manifesting, or what my vision is? One day to have a batch there, or like a holiday home there, or just having the freedom. I mean, I already have the freedom to just go there whenever I want. So that's something I manifest, or like that's the life I want to live. And who am I to say I'm going to have a holiday home one day? Like, honestly, I know though that I can say that, and I know that I can manifest that, and I know that life has amazing things to offer. Like, who am I not to say that one day I have a holiday home? You know what I mean? If you tell yourself, nah, that's never possible, that's like a limiting belief you plant in your subconscious mind, and you will believe that for the rest of your life. But what I'm always thinking, if other people can do it, I can do it too. And I mean, if my younger self told herself I could never, like, living in New Zealand is something that I'm never gonna be able to do, because no one in my family moved into a different country. Actually, one person did, to France, but no one, like, let's say no one moved to the other side of the world. If I told myself that, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if I tell myself I will never be able to have a holiday home, guess what? I'll never be able, even though it's such a big thing. Like, it seems, I could tell myself it seems so impossible, but if I tell myself that, I'm going to believe it. So I know it is possible. And you might think I'm crazy, and maybe I am a little bit, but I'm going to manifest big things. Because if I'm not doing it, if I'm not manifesting it, no one's going to manifest it for me, and no one is going to work towards it than me. So yeah, so I think this is this episode for today. Think big, manifest big things. Make other people think you're crazy, and just go for it. Manifest it, believe it, visualize it, feel it with all of your senses. Feel it with your, like, with your hands. Visualize it, smell it, and taste the life you want to live. That's all I can say for now. Hope you have an amazing day. Bye.
Well, that does it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in today. If you like this episode and don't want to miss any new ones, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Feel free to share it with your friends or on social media. It really means a lot to me. It will help me to create this podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Johanna_Liana. I'm always happy to connect, so flick me a message if you want. Enjoy the rest of your day, and always remember, it's a beautiful day to have a good day. It's a beautiful day to be alive.